There are so many amazing women out there doing amazing things. And when women uplift each other, who knows what can happen? Okay, so for this Women in Business, we are traveling to Berkeley, which is where I live, and with one of my favorite people, Nancy Robinson. And in all transparency, she actually sold me my house. So I know firsthand how good you are at your job.
Thank you.
How long have you been doing this?
27 years.
Okay, so 27 years, and I can imagine there have been a lot of changes in the industry in that time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is the biggest change you've seen?
I'd say the biggest change that we've seen is more younger people getting into the business.
Okay.
Because it was, when I started, 99-ish, that it was for retirees. We had a lot of, a lot of retirees would go into real estate as a second career.
Okay. And that makes, why? What would be the appeal to that?
The inconsistency in the income.
Okay.
So if they have if they have a steady retirement income, then this would be a supplement.
Okay. That makes sense. And I will tell you a secret that a lot of people in broadcasting are actually agents on the side too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I probably throughout my career have known at least 6.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be like, oh, well, they'd be on TV or on the radio, and they'd be like, okay, I've got to go to a showing.
Yeah.
But I think because of the same reason.
Well, and the flexibility, on the timing.
Right.
So, very, very infrequently will somebody call you and say, I need to see something now, or I need you to come list my house now. We usually make an appointment.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a process.
It's a process. Okay, so it used to be retirees who were getting into the business.
Predominantly.
Okay, and now what is it?
COVID brought out a whole group of younger people who weren't satisfied with their career, didn't like the income, didn't like being laid off from like the food industry or the or the retail. That they saw real estate, mortgaging, and insurance licensures, which are all relatively easy to get when you consider, a 4-year degree in broadcasting, right? So, they started coming into real estate, and it was good for them because that was just at the time that the market exploded out, which you remember.
Yes.
Right. So,
because I think that's about when I bought my house. Well,
it is,
yes,
yeah,
right? Because I bought it 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that is about right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, and are they serious agents still?
Yes.
Consistently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. The ones that have stayed in the business, yes, they are serious about it.
Okay.
We, however, have a 3-year kind of plateau, 3 to 5 years. So we're just starting to see people who are not quite doing what they want to do or wanting something different or more dropping out. So we really do have about a 90% failure rate in real estate. Yeah.
Wow,
it's really
that's
high.
huge.
Well, part of it's because it's easy to get into.
Right. Okay, so
40 hours-ish.
For the class, right?
For the class.
Okay.
So, and if you take it online, you can do your 40 and 20,
Or you can do your 40 at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's right. They don't clock it out in the same way.
Right.
And then you pass the test, and you can take the test as many times as you want.
You can?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no cap to that either.
Like, it's under $200 to take the test.
Okay.
So
the fee to get licensed and then take the test, or 2 different fees, right? 2 different processes?
2 different, but boy, it's been so long for me, right?
Sorry, didn't mean to trick you there, but yeah. So bottom line is,
but let's put it this way: for under $1,000, you can get a real estate license.
Not a bad deal if you have the time.
If you have, if you're trying to get a associate's degree in culinary arts at OCC, it's going to be more than $1,000.
For sure. And people, I think people see the dollar signs.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I sell one house a year and I've got,
And TV makes it popular.
Yes.
Right?
Right, for sure.
So, if you think about it, there's no shows on TV saying about insurance agents. Successful insurance agents or successful loan officers.
Hey, you might be onto something.
Yeah, right.
So we should write it. Yeah, right? See?
Okay. Script time. Let's go.
Let's do it. We'll combine our videos. It'll be good, right? Okay, we'll talk after this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
All right, about being a woman in business, because you are,
Okay, this is unscripted.
Yes,
Okay,
this is unscripted. Yes. So, okay, so let's see. Where do I want to start? Okay. So how have you learned in 27 years to
Yeah.
listen to your intuition?
Oh, honey, I've been doing that since I was a child.
Intuition?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you've never been one to like be like, oh, my gut's telling me one thing, but I need to do another.
No.
You've always followed it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how has that helped you in your business?
Well, I don't listen to the chatter.
Okay.
I don't listen to when everybody was all like, whatever the zeitgeist is at the time, I'm not listening to it. I'm just following my own intuition. And part of that intuition is also I read a lot and I study.
Okay.
And I'm putting it together with what human nature does, what
Seeing if it
people do.
matches and
Right.
okay,
And seeing
that
how
makes
it
sense.
matches up.
Okay. That's a
Yeah.
great thing, especially. So how does that so if somebody approaches you about selling their house
Yes.
and if you happen to get kind of a weird vibe from them, do you do it?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. So that, I mean, because
It's like any relationship. If it doesn't start off feeling at least like something inside or something, into like there's some kind of like, yeah, this can work, then it's always strained. It's always hard. It doesn't flow right.
that is interesting because selling your house or even buying a new one, if you're dealing with the same agent, it is a relationship because you're like calling them all the time and you're like, hey, what do you think? You value their opinion.
Yeah.
I never thought of it
And
that way.
I just had a situation where I was hired by the court.
Okay.
Okay, so I do about, let's say 10% of my business is court related, probate, or somebody has these two can't get along.
Okay.
They can't agree on the right realtor to help them sell the house. So
You're talking about like divorces and stuff?
yeah,
Okay.
or just even two friends breaking up, or this one was an engaged couple.
Okay.
They just did not like each other.
Oh gosh.
It wasn't good at all. I didn't need to connect with them. I needed to connect with their lawyers.
Oh.
So, but I talked with them a lot, but they always thought I was on the other one's side.
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
Okay.
I was like, I can handle about one of those a year.
I was going to say, that sounds like way stressful.
Yeah, but that always felt kind of a strain, but not when it was dealing with their lawyers.
Right.
Because the lawyers interviewed me, the lawyers hired me, the lawyers put the deal together,
Right.
Right.
So did you ever meet them?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay. All right. So you do that about once a year, or you hope for,
once
right?
a year with
Once
that
a
kind
year.
of a.
Okay.
But that's just an example of something that really didn't flow with this actual clients.
Okay.
It had to flow with their lawyers.
Right. And that's a extenuating circumstance.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So intuition, that's very interesting because I know throughout my career and my life, it's been like, oh, your intuition is saying something, but you go against it. And then you're like, oh, why didn't
Doesn't
I
work
listen to my
out.
intuition? Right.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work out.
Doesn't.
No. And to learn that at a young age, I think is I try to teach the twins that now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, listen, if your gut's telling you something, then just, you gotta go with it. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, sometimes it just seems it has to resonate all the way through. And if it doesn't, then, or at least resonate part way, I guess,
Right.
that. So life is this big, huge series of options, right? It's
for
like
sure.
I don't know, I'm getting this image of like this huge bowl of jelly beans,
Oh,
right?
really? Oh, do you have black jelly beans? Because I love those.
Okay, maybe I'm
Those are
getting
my
it from you.
favorite.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you for
Yes,
giving me that
yes,
image.
you're
Okay.
fine.
So it's like a huge bowl of jelly beans. And like I kind of like the white and the black ones, all right? But you might like the red ones, which are pretty darn good, right?
Right.
The red and the yellow ones or something, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
And green. I like
And
green.
the green ones? All right, like the green ones.
Yes.
So, like, they're all good and they're all options, right? So life isn't short of options. Life isn't short of opportunities. There's really no scarcity out there, right?
Yeah.
So picking those things deliberately or just kind of going with that intuitive sense of what's right for you will work out better.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's not the act of eating a jelly bean, it's the act of eating the jelly bean you want.
And choosing the jelly bean you want.
Choosing the jelly
right?
bean you want.
Okay, so far we've got black jelly beans, green jelly beans, and red jelly beans. Okay.
The yellow one,
And
yeah.
yellow,
the
yes,
one's pretty
yellow.
good. Did we cover them all? Purple. We
right?
missed purple.
Oh, yeah, purple. I don't like purple very pretty much. Okay, so fill in the blank for me.
Okay.
I used to think success meant blank,
Oh,
but now I know it means blank.
oh. So immediately I'm thinking of, I know you want me to fill in the blanks, but I'm thinking of that your net worth is not your self-worth.
Mm. Okay, say that again.
Your net worth is not your self-worth.
Okay, so explain that.
So a lot of especially realtors, that we brag about how many sales we have, how much money we make, and kind of elevate our status around the
The number.
the number.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons why I wanted to leave where I was at and open my own place was that human worth should be about the relationships that we have and the experiences we give each other in a positive way. And I know we're going to talk about kindness, right? Right. And the motto to this brand that I'm with, called Real Broker, is work hard, be kind.
Oh, I love
Not
that.
work hard, make money.
Okay. And that's kind of a switch for your business.
Absolutely.
Right?
The traditional real estate idea, work hard, make money.
Make lots of money.
Make lots of money.
Right. And
Make
let
as much money
everyone
as you can.
everyone know it, right?
And let everybody know it, right?
Because okay, so from the perception of like a buyer or seller, do they care how much?
No.
Does it look good to them?
No.
It doesn't, right?
Not really.
So it's really
My
just a
phone might
status.
ring more like if I can, put out there that I'm successful.
Right.
Right?
Or the
Because
top agent or
all that, which we're all the top agent.
Oh, are
right?
you? Okay.
Everybody's the
I
top
wondered
agent.
that. I'm like, wait a minute, how is this
How does
person
that
the top
work, right?
agent?
So there's this one meme that's out there that says, "I am the top agent," and in parentheses, in my mother's mind.
Oh,
And
that's like the truth, right?
Right. It is true. It is true.
All right,
But
interesting.
nobody really cares. They only care about how you treat them, and they only care about, are you there for them? And is the process that you're undertaking together about the principal, about the client, not about the agent? So
And you have to trust your agent.
yes, so that's where the kindness comes in and the competence. So you tend to hire somebody that you like, and you like them because you trust them, and you feel like they're honoring who you are and what you're about.
And let's face it, buying a house or even selling one, and especially through like an emotional circumstance, you need that person even more.
Yeah.
And you need to trust them even more, right?
Right.
Okay. No, that makes sense. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Number one agent.
Trying. No, you know what? But I kind of got tired of that part too.
Which part?
That part about the office that I was with, Brooke, I would literally walk down the halls and I'd have people step out of my way, the newer agents. Or I'd have people, like some of the newer agents would come up to me and say, I'm sorry, like I have to introduce myself. I'm sorry to bother you. Do you have a minute? I know you're busy. And it was all this kind of stuff. And just instead of saying, hi, do you have a minute? I've got a question.
Interesting.
So it felt icky. I had one guy, literally, I'd walk down the hall and he would do this every time I'd walk down the hall.
Really?
I was like, oh, stop it. Like, please, Abe, stop
You're like,
it.
yes, I am the number one agent.
That is not good for anybody's soul.
No, it really isn't. It is not.
Because there's always somebody that's going to be better and and again, your self-worth should not be based on your net worth.
I love that.
Because it's actually nobody's business, right?
I was actually just going to say that.
Okay.
That might need to go in a coffee cup.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it. Or two businesses now.
Exactly. Okay, so what kind of feedback used to make you shrink, right? So like if somebody would critique you and you'd be like, oh my God. But what kind do you ignore on purpose now? So have you seen a difference through your 27 years?
Sure, for sure.
Okay.
There was a time that it was very popular for sellers in particular, and sometimes buyer clients, to accuse realtors of only being in it for the money.
Oh, Okay. Well, I can see that though.
Yeah.
And I can honestly see being in it for the money because it's good money.
Only for the money, though.
Oh,
Only for the money.
okay.
So I used to, I think I got that accusation maybe once or twice.
Mhm.
And that used to just oh, now I would ignore that. I would just absolutely ignore that.
So now you wouldn't even think
We wouldn't
twice
even
about
bother
it
me.
because you
Yeah.
know better.
Yeah.
And you're
'Cause,
obviously secure in
way more
yourself
secure
that
in
you're
that.
like, okay,
Yeah.
you know what? That's not even true.
It's not just about the money.
Right.
The money's nice, no
For sure.
doubt, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So
Okay, so let's see. All right, so good answer for that one. See,
Okay,
this
cool,
is like
cool,
a
cool.
quiz show, right?
yeah.
Okay, so is there a rule about entrepreneurship, because you are an entrepreneur,
Yes, for sure.
that you've decided to break?
Yeah, and it's a bit of a trend.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So not just me. So being with one brand for 26 years,
Mhm.
to up and root myself to open my own brokerage, my
Yeah.
own office under a not very well-known brand, because it's only been in Michigan 3 years and we only have 350
Really?
agents.
You can
Yeah.
say the brand, it's fine.
Yeah, it's a real broker.
Okay.
So it's very, very unusual for somebody who's so number one agent, Century 21, Michigan for 12, 13 years to just pull up and do something different.
Okay.
And being a woman. So most brokerages are owned and run by men.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a man-dominated field.
Yes, but
Okay.
51% of the agents are women. But I don't know what the percentage is, but I'd have to say it's probably 70%, 75% of the brokerages are run by males.
Okay.
So
Why do you think that is?
I think because women have too much to do.
Oh, makes sense. And it takes a lot of time, right?
Actually, no, it didn't take that much time at all.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
What?
No, it didn't. It didn't. It really didn't.
Okay.
No, when I left Century 21 in March, by July I had my own office set up and ready to go.
Okay.
So,
Oh, so that wasn't long
and
at all.
I have 6 agents that work with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So no, not long at all.
All right. So high five on that one,
Yeah.
right? Getting
Yeah.
it done and
Yeah.
6 agents underneath you. Okay, so let me ask you this. So if somebody was thinking about real estate,
Yes.
what would be your number one piece of advice?
Ask them if they're okay with the inconsistency of getting started, and then after a while, you do get most of my business is repeat and referral.
Okay.
So I get some new through marketing and
For sure.
all the kind of advertising
Right.
stuff. But they have to be kind of okay with. I'd say everybody needs to have probably, they say 3 months of float. Financially, I'd say a
Financially? Okay.
year.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And then, okay, so I just lost my train of thought
yeah.
because, okay, so have at least a year of income that you can rely on while you're starting off. And then what is your number one piece of advice for somebody who is in the business still and is thinking about getting out of it?
Well, if they're thinking about getting out of it, they should probably get out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah,
intuition.
I mean, they probably should just, but, however, there's, let's say you've got somebody that's 10 or 15 years, 20 years in the business, and now like the tech world that's taking over, because that, back to the first question, that would be probably the next biggest shakeup is how we're dealing with tech and AI.
Okay.
So, but that hasn't hit entirely yet, so that's why I put the age thing before the
for
tech
sure.
thing. Okay, so when they get kind of overwhelmed with all of that, or the, TikTok videos and, all the marketing kinds of stuff, that they shouldn't just let their database fall away.
Okay.
Yeah.
What should they do with it?
They should call me.
I knew you were going to say that.
They should call me and let me help them manage their database,
Right.
and then get referrals.
Okay. Well, there it
and
is,
then
right? A
they
good
could
transition.
just could make 25% on their referral base with very little effort.
Nice.
till they're in their 90s.
Wow.
Doesn't
That's
matter,
amazing.
right?
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well, that's why you're so successful, because
Yeah.
you're always thinking, man.
I'm trying.
You're always thinking. Okay. So if
Yeah.
somebody's buying or selling a house, how do they reach out to you?
Nancy Robinson at 248-224-1013.
Have a website?
It's being worked on. That's the one thing that
Okay.
it's kind of off to the side.
Okay, all right.
But my email address is nancy.robinson01@gmail.com.
Okay. And people can reach out to you there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Brooke.
It's always nice to see you.
So
And
great to see
I
you.
still have your little.
And by the way, that
Yes.
is a perfect color. Your eyes are just dancing.
Oh, thanks,
Oh my
man.
gosh. So
Thank
cute.
you so
Yeah.
much. I appreciate it. And one more parting words as far as just the industry in itself, buyer or seller market right now.
Balanced.
Excellent.
Absolutely balanced.
Okay.
So it's good for buyers for the first time in a while to jump in.
Okay. Then we will.
Because statistically, we're about 96% off ask. So you can get about a 4% discount.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
There's your tip. All right. Thanks, Nancy.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me for our Women in Business segment. And if you know a woman who has her own business and should be put in the spotlight, let me know. You can tag me on social media. You can even DM me, or you can email me, and you can send that email to hello@brookeallencommunications.com. I know, a long email, but really, it's amazing to get the word out and to make those connections, and who knows what might come out of it, because when a woman uplifts another woman, magic can happen. We'll see you soon.